So let us start with our prayers and join together. You can all chant together. Om Ajnana-timirandasya
Hare Krishna.
Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur-unmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu-padaya Krishna-preshtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, welcome all the devotees. So today we'll read few shlokas and try to understand the purpose and the purpose behind these words from Krishna. Okay, so the first one is ninth shloka from the 18th chapter. Karyam ityeva yat karma niyatam kriyate arjuna sangham tyaktva phalam chaiva satyaga satviko mataha. Translation: O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. Prabhu, can you go to the next slide? Yeah. Na dveshti akushalam karma kushale nanusachyate tyagi sattva samavishto medhavi chinna samshayaha. Translation: the intelligent renouncer, situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. So let me explain about these two shlokas first, then we'll go to the other two shlokas. So the first 12 shlokas of this chapter talks especially about the karma yoga, essentially how one performing karma yoga is able to free from bondage. We are all bound by certain things. Our lives are conditioned. So how to get out of it? So that has been explained. Krishna has elaborately discussed about the action with detachment and also with the mood of renunciation. And he also explains that better than renunciation of the complete action itself, completely stopping to act. So better than that is acting in the mood of renunciation. So here we will try to understand this. Sorry about the cold. So the first section is talking about the karma yoga here from the previous shlokas itself. So continuing with this till the 12th shloka, it is ending with the karma yoga. So there are two karmas, nitya karma and anitya karma. So there's nitya karma means what actions we do every day. It's repeated. Okay, it can be like brushing our teeth, cooking every day. Anitya karma means once in a while we may perform. Okay, those are called anitya karma. So we'll see how important these points to be remembered. Acting in the mode of renunciation, then ultimately how the bhakti process will engage us in this, and it's actually liberating also, and how we create attachment towards Krishna as well. So there are two things. One is karma and there is jnana. So karma means actions and jnana means which we receive certain information, certain knowledge. There are positive and negatives of both these aspects, what we are discussing. So karma has, it's a natural, everybody is naturally bound to do some actions. That is the positive side. But the negative side is it has binding force. That means either good or bad, you're bound. So you do some karma, you do some action. There, by definitely, it should be some bad or good results which will occur either in the future or in the present circumstances. These are the positive and negative side. So then there's called jnana. That means jnana means you receive certain information. It's liberating actually. That's the positive side. Okay, you receive certain information. You try to gain some knowledge. You will understand so many things. You see, you feel, oh yes, it's so nice. It's so elevating. You'll feel like that. So in the matter of spiritual subject also, you receive some information or knowledge. It is liberating. Okay, but the negative side of this is you feel little unnatural. You feel that this is not natural. Certain things when we hear, we feel, how can this be done? I have never heard of this. This is not natural. That's without the feeling comes. So positive and negatives are there for both karma and jnana. But when it comes to bhakti, bhakti has both, where karma and jnana both are involved. Now, in bhakti, what happens is the positives remain and the negatives are removed. So, how it is removed? In the bhakti process, we take to the devotion towards the Supreme Lord. So we take towards Krishna. So there is action which is natural, it is not binding, and our action is not motivated by our desires. We'll do according to the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, we'll do according to the Shastra scriptures, and how we can have that loving exchange, how we can build that relationship with the Supreme Lord, and we try to gain the knowledge also, which is liberating. So bhakti is natural and liberating at the same time. So we don't have to separately endeavor for liberation alone. So we naturally perform our actions every day in the bhakti process the whole day, then it is liberating at the same time. So we don't have to worry about it. So this is how it is. Now coming to the jnana, there are four type of jnanis. That means who are seeking knowledge and they try to understand the ultimate, the absolute. So the first one is those who don't practice bhakti at all. They just want jnana, like the scientists. What is there in this world? What is there outside this world? Let us send a rocket. So what is there? What is there? What is there? So they don't believe in God. They completely shut down. They don't believe in God at all, but they want to try to prove something with the matter. So they don't practice bhakti at all. So this is one type of jnanis. So and there were certain rishis also who were kind of atheist in the past also. It's not that modern scientists also. Even in the past, there were many atheists. They used to interrogate their mind. So that is one type of jnani. The second type of jnani is they practice bhakti, but at the same time offend the Lord's form. Especially these are Mayavadis. Not all Gyanis are Mayavadis, but one type of bhakti they practice and they don't accept the Lord's form. They say, no, no, Lord cannot have the Almighty or the Supreme Lord cannot have any senses. He cannot have any body. We have our own senses. We enjoy. We have eyes. We have our limbs. All that is there. So we will enjoy, but Lord cannot enjoy and suffer like us. So there shouldn't be any form at all. There's a major religion also on this. So for them, what it is, so the Supreme Lord is senseless. So you might have heard about this neti, 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 neti. No, 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 it is not there. This is not there. Eyes is not there. He doesn't have heart. He doesn't have hands. He doesn't have to walk. So he doesn't have any senses. He doesn't have hairs. So like this neti, neti, neti. So they say this is one type of uh, Lord. And moreover that they say that Mayavadis, what is that? They offend in such a way that Lord is also in Maya, because when someone comes to this world, they fall under illusion. So that is Mayavadi philosophy. So For them, only one is liberated, they become the Lord. So that is very dangerous. That is spiritual suicide. Srila Prabhupada explains about this. So Mayavadis are another type. Now both this first and second type of Gyanis, they are sure to fall down. That means they will never get liberated and they're sure to fall down, as explained by Chakravarti Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Okay. Now the third type of Gyanis are, they practice bhakti but want to attain a sahuchya, a mode of liberation. So actually in Bhagavatam also, even in the different scriptures also, it has been mentioned. There are five types of liberation. One can get salokya, sashti, sarupya, samipya, sayuchya. So one type of jnana is sayuchya. So what is this sayuchya? We should understand. So let us first try to understand what is salokya. Lokya means that particular loka or the planet. So one gets liberated from this place, he goes to any Vaikuntha planets where the Narayana form is residing. Vaikuntha planets. They're filled with unlimited planets. So Salokya. Then what is Sashti? Sashti is one attains the liberation, but he gets the opulence as good as the Supreme Lord himself. That is Sashti. So they'll get all the wealth, but they're not Supreme Lord. So that is one type of liberation. Sarupya. Sarupya means liberation and getting the form as the Supreme Lord himself. This is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, where there were many Vishnus. So there are so many Vishnus in Vaikuntha. For example, one who got liberated was Kamsa, because he was always thinking about Krishna in negative way. So he got killed and he got liberated. So even at the hour of death, at the end moment, he looks at Krishna, then he gives up the body. So he's immediately transformed to the Sarupya transformation. So he gets the four-handed Narayana form. Another classic example is the king Paundraka. He was so foolish that he was thinking he is the Supreme Lord. I'm Lord Vishnu. So he used to have an artificial two extra hands holding Shankha Chakra. So he gets killed by, he gets, his head taken off by Krishna. So he also gets, because he was thinking he was always, he's also Vishnu. So he fought with Krishna. So he also gets liberation. So he gets Sarupya. So he gets four-handed form and he's liberated to Vaikuntha planet. So that's Sarupya. Samipya. Samipya means Samipya. We have heard this word. Samipya means very close. So wants to stay closely with the Lord, always direct association with the Lord. That is also one kind of liberation. For example, all the Gopa boys. Arjuna is a very nice example. So they are there always wherever the Lord is. Hanuman, they're all always the eternal associate of the Lord, and they're always with the Lord wherever he goes. So that is Samipya. Now, what is Sayuchya? Sayuchya means liberation. These are attained by especially the yogis and jnanis. So once after they become liberated, they go to the Brahma Jyoti. So for them, after this material world, there is this big light. The white light is there, and all the atoms, the atoms, the souls which are there, it goes and merges into that light. So then, they say that I'm liberated. So I go into that effulgence. So that is Sayuchya. So this is one type of liberation which is occurring. So these are Brahmavadis. They're called as Brahmavadis. So there is a difference between what we have seen is the Gyanis. One is Mayavadi. They're sure to fall down and they offend. And there are other type of liberations which they receive. What is Brahmavadis? Practice bhakti, but with the motive or the goal that Sahyuchya Rupa should be received. Okay, so that is one type. And the fourth type is practicing bhakti by devotees association, accepting the Supreme Lord, and attaining prema, the loving devotional service. Because even when we come to bhakti, we are gaining knowledge. We are reading so many things. We are hearing so many pastimes. We are hearing philosophy. So we are also receiving certain knowledge. So there are four types of jnanis. Okay, so now coming to this, the two shlokas, why I'm mentioning this is Krishna mentions about Tyaga Phala. And what is the beauty of this Tyaga Phala? Renunciation of the fruits of your actions, that I don't accept anything, so I just want to get liberated. So Tyaga Phala has two benefits. One is purification, another is illumination. You get illuminated. You're getting that purification. There's a lot of anarthas which we are carrying. So for a higher understanding, we'll get that purification and we are illuminated also. So Krishna is explaining beautifully what the Tyaga is and what is the illumination you get. So the intelligent renouncer. So he mentions about intelligence here. So he says he's intelligent actually. Medhavi. If you see in that first shloka, ninth shloka, he says about Medhavi. Medha means intelligence. So this is the intelligent renouncer in the mode of goodness. He is neither hateful to inauspicious nor the auspicious work. So even in our bhakti process, we do not take sides. When there is something inauspicious happens, it is Krishna's mercy. Something auspicious happens in our life, that is Krishna's mercy. Okay, that is how our conduct should be. We have to accept both positive and negative in our life. So that has been explained very clearly in the purport also. So Medhavi Chinna Samshaya. So what is this Chinna Samshaya? So the person who is not materially motivated, his emotions are restricted, and he has emotions for the higher things. So there are emotions which are running in our mind. So emotions running towards the material activities, that has been curtailed or shut down, but emotions toward the higher activities open up. So that is how this karma yoga process works. Prabhu, can you go to the 11th and 12th shloka? I'll explain this also. You have to share the screen. Anand Rupa Prabhu. Just yeah. Now coming to the 11th shloka. Nahi deha vriddha sakhyam tyaktum karmanya asheshatah yastu karma phalatyagi satyagi abhityithiyate. Translation: it is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities, but he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced. So for liberation, renunciation is a must. Now, how it is done? So he is explaining in this shloka also. So please go to the next shloka, Prabhu, 12th shloka. So in the 12th shloka, we see this. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha trividham karmana phalam bhavat atyaginam pretya natu sannyasinam kvachit. Translation: for one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. Okay. So now coming to this 11th shloka, from the previous shloka, we saw how Krishna was explaining about Tyaga Phala. So giving up the fruits of the action. Now here he talks about action also. So he's telling that Arjuna, it is not possible. Those who have any type of body, be it animal body or be it human body. So it is never easy to give up all the work completely. We have seen that for anything basics we have to do, we need to take some actions. So Krishna uses this word asheshataha several times. Okay, so he is talking about the karma which is not at all possible to give up, but we have to do this karma phala tyagi. One who is able to do this, he is therefore giving up the fruits, and he is the true renunciate. Renunciation doesn't mean after reading this Bhagavad-gītā, I'll wear some saffron cloth and run away from the house. No, he's telling that you do your duty, you do your actions, whatever daily activities is there, we have to perform it. You cannot, because to maintain the body, you have to take some actions. So that is very much required. That is the basic survival. And it requires certain activities to be done. So work is bound to everyone. automatically, but the consciousness, what you're endeavoring from, that has to be changed. So from basically, first is the we are trying to liberate ourselves because I'm finding myself in certain difficulties. Then I'm trying to find the jnana where I want to how to get out of this bondage, how to get out of this suffering. Then here Krishna is clearly telling that, oh, you have to renounce the actions. Renounce the fruits of the actions, but I cannot give up the actions completely. Giving up the actions completely is very, very difficult. How long can we sit and even if you take, like previously we have heard certain people going and sitting and meditating for a very long time. They sit for, like Saurabha Rishi, he meditated for 60,000 years under the water. So there were other yogis who were sitting for 30,000 years. So like we can, okay, I'll sit for 1 hour or 2 hours, but still after that, I have to do some action. How long can I just sit and breathe? I cannot even move. Only half an hour I can. After that, my body moves. There's murmuring in the stomach. Yeah, I'm hungry. There's headache because I'm hungry, right? So my body becomes weak. So there's a lot of disturbance around. So like this, just giving up everything and sitting at one place, it is not at all possible. So you'll get up, you'll go start eating, and you'll search for food. So it is not easy for us to, and we are not so strong also mentally and physically. So we can go and we are so determined, like what we have heard in the previous pastimes and all. So we can go and sit in some place and meditate for many thousands of years. We cannot even survive 1 day, 2 days. We have seen so many people fasting for so many days for some motives, but still they are put up in the hospital because their body doesn't cooperate. So giving up action is completely is not possible. So for the survival, the soul's nature is to be active. The nature of the soul is always active. It is never shut down. So we have to do certain activities, but we have to connect everything how it has to be done. That's why he says here that the person who renounces the fruits of the action is called truly renounced. So he's called truly renounced. Then coming to the 12th shloka, he says, "Well, for one who is not renounced." Now there are three fruits of action. So he mentions about the person who is not renounced. So what happens to him? So there is nishtha anishtha. We have heard about these words. So what is that? Anishtam ishtam mishram cha. So anishtha. Sometimes especially in the Kannada side, they use this word. They'll scold someone, "Hey, anishtha." They say, "This is anishtha." They say, "Idu anishtha aitu." They will say. So anishtha means undesirable. What is ishtam? Ishtam means which is desirable. So anishta ishtam mishram, mixed of both. And what Krishna is telling? Accrue after death. He says this is even so that means after death also it is following us. So what is that? Pretya. If you see, he's mentioning about this Bhavat Atyaginam Pretya. Pretya means after death. So that means the actions we are performing, the results are awaiting, and we have to take birth again. Either it can be desirable reactions or undesirable, or it can be mixed. So this is what we are going to face. So this is a going on cycle, birth after birth, birth after birth, because there are so many actions which we have performed in the past, and so many things which we are awaiting results. It's not that your results are finished in this life alone. There are so many reactions to be taken in the future also. And in the present life, I'm taking so many actions every day and so many desires are carrying. So for that also it is awaiting. So it's a vicious cycle. You go on in that loop, running and running and running. You never get out of it. So that is how it is working. So Krishna, on the broader perspective, he is talking about this as attached. Then he's mentioning about the detached also. But for those who are in the renounced order of life, have no such result of suffering or enjoyment. So there are two things, attachment and detachment. If you remember in the previous chapters, we were discussing about how the weapon of detachment can cut down the roots of this the tree, the banyan tree, which Krishna mentions. So Arjuna used this weapon called detachment, and you can go to the higher realms, he says. So a person who is a Tyagi, he will get the result of Anishta Ishta Mishra. Good karma, good result. Bad karma, bad result. And sometimes some actions have both good and bad. Sometimes when we, if you notice, if you try to analyze, when we do certain action, one time we'll get a good action, good reaction, we'll get good results. But other time we'll do the same thing, will not get the same result, and we do not like it. Yeah. For example, in cooking, I'll do, say for example, certain recipe today. The taste is nice, it has come out very well. But I'll do the same thing again, it doesn't come out well. Some mistake. So the same actions, there are different reactions. So that is Anishta Mishtam Mishra. Okay, and what these fruits talking about, and it is following to the next life also. Pretya means after death, and a person who is not renounced, he is going to suffer in due course of time. But a sannyasi means the person who has given up the fruits of the action, he gets liberation. So there are this sannyasi not necessarily means that only the person who was wearing the saffron clothes. A person wearing a saffron cloth also can have a lot of desires. Only outwardly his appearance may be a sannyasi. So it not necessarily means that sannyasi means only the order of life. Sannyasi means even as a grihastha, even as a brahmachari or a student life or a family man can live how our motive of life can be. So that is very much required. So in the previous verses, there's contradiction between a person who is trying to give up all the work than a person who is acting with detachment. Here he is explaining about the different results of actions, and also how a person who is not into the desires or bondage, how is getting liberated. So this is a broad perspective or the comparison between a person living in action, at the same time acting in attachment, and the person living in action who doesn't have any attachment. He's completely detached. So there's a broad difference in how our motives are. So what we do in our life, it is very important. Now, for example, Prabhu Mataji, how do I live that way? So we are earning our money. We are doing so many things. I'm buying, I'm purchasing things every day. I'm cooking so many things. I have to take care of my children. I have to take care of my family. Then there are relatives, there are friends. So how do I live? So we have to live in the mood of detachment. We have to dedicate our motive. Everything should be towards Krishna himself. So there's a big difference between the devotee's house and the normal people living in house. Because if you go to anybody's house, they say that, yes, this is my house, I built this, this is my family, I am the owner of this house, I am the family head, all these things come out. But when you see, when you go to devotee's house, they first introduce to the Lord. So you pay obeisance to the altar where there's the Supreme Lord. Either it can be Jagannath or Gaurnitai, or it can be Radha Krishna. So they introduce these are our family head. He's our owner of the house. So there's this big difference when you mention that, because you're always in the mind. You're mindful that, okay, he's there. I have to not fight in the house. I should not create any problems in the house. I have to be in controlled way. So I have to, be in a very disciplined manner. So I have to, whatever I do, I have to surrender to him. So that is the mode one will work under. So whatever the salary I'm getting, I'm spending, whatever eating or whatever it is, but I'm offering to the Lord. So that is the mode of renunciation. That whatever the phala tyaga means, the phala what you're getting, the fruits of your action, you're surrendering unto the Supreme Lord. So there you'll get this result of bhakti. So what is this phala tyagi result? You enter bhakti. And then you start building that loving relationship because you're giving up, you're giving to Krishna. Actually, the money we possess also does not belong to Krishna. There's nothing which we have to give up. But the money which has been given is by Krishna and we are giving it back. There's a very nice analogy that a father gives um, cookies to the child. So what does the child do? He breaks a portion and gives it to the father. Now the whole portion was given by the father, but still the child, out of love, is breaking one piece and first thing he's offering to the father. So similarly, whatever we have in our life, it is given by our Supreme Father, but still we are trying to break certain thing from that and little portion we are giving to our Father, our Supreme Father. So there's a big understanding of this. So when one starts acting in this way, the life is blissful and beautiful. So please go through these 4 shlokas, very nicely explained, because from the 13th shloka, it is going to change. It is completely different aspect which is going to be discussed about Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga. Then towards the end of this chapter, Krishna again explains Arjuna about Bhakti Yoga. Then he takes the affirmation. So this is how this chapter has been divided. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Until we meet next time, Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.